Grace is starting her very first team meeting at Tech Global. She's nervous, but today she'll learn 6 essential communication idioms that help teams stay connected and productive. From speaking up in a group to wrapping up a discussion, these phrases will make her a confident communicator. Let's follow Grace through her morning and see how she navigates her first meeting.
I'm so nervous about this meeting, Daniel. It's my first real team project. What if everyone thinks I'm not experienced enough?
Don't worry at all. Look, here's my advice. Make sure you speak up if you have something to say. Don't just sit there quietly.
But what if I say something stupid? What if I waste everyone's time?
That's where my second tip comes in. Get to the point. Don't give a long explanation. Just say your idea quickly and clearly.
So I should share my thoughts, but keep them short?
Exactly. The team wants to hear from you. Speak up with your ideas. Get to the point with them. That's all you need to do.
Okay, I can do that. I have some ideas about how the project should be structured. I'll speak up about it.
Perfect. And remember, the manager, Maya, she really values different perspectives. She wants everyone to contribute.
Thanks, Daniel. I feel better already. Let's go in. I'm ready to speak up.
Let's pause on the phrase, speak up, to express your opinion or voice your thoughts, especially when you've been quiet or hesitant. It means to say something when you have an idea or concern that matters. In the 1600s, speak up literally meant to speak louder so you could be heard in a crowded room or meeting. Over time, it came to mean voicing your thoughts boldly, even when you're nervous or when others haven't asked for your input. A common mistake is waiting for permission to speak up. You don't need to be asked directly. If you have a relevant thought, speak up. It shows you're engaged and thinking critically. Now, let's practice together. Repeat after me. Don't just sit there quietly. Speak up if you have something to say. During the class discussion, Sarah felt nervous, but she decided to speak up about her idea anyway. If you disagree with the plan, you should speak up in the meeting. Your opinion matters. Let's pause on the phrase, get to the point, to say the main thing you want to communicate without including extra, unnecessary details or background information. It means being direct and concise. A point is the tip of something, the most essential part. In the 1800s, when people wanted you to stop wasting time with unnecessary details and just say the important conclusion, they'd say, get to the point. Get to the tip, the core of what you're trying to say. A common mistake is over-explaining. You think you need all that context, but usually, listeners just want the main thing. Lead with your key point, then explain if they ask for details. Now, let's practice together. Repeat after me. Don't give a long explanation. Get to the point. Just say your idea quickly and clearly. In the presentation, the director spent 10 minutes on background before finally getting to the point. The new budget. When my friend kept telling me about her whole day, I said, Okay, can you just get to the point? What did he say?
All right, team, let's discuss the project timeline. We have 3 months to finish. What's everyone thinking?
I think we should split it into 2 phases. First, design and planning. Then, development and testing.
Okay, and how long for each phase?
I'd say about 6 weeks for planning and 8 weeks for development.
That's 14 weeks total. We only have 12. Let me push back on that. Can you do it faster?
Well, the planning phase is really important. If we rush it, we'll have problems later.
I see your point, but we need to be on the same page here. We have a 12-week deadline we can't move. So how do we make it work?
What if we overlap the phases a little? Some development could start during planning.
Interesting. So we go back and forth on this planning but also starting development? Let me think about the risks.
Exactly. We're going back and forth on different approaches. Maybe overlap is risky or maybe it saves time. What do you think?
Good reasoning. This is what I mean by being on the same page. We understand each other's concerns now.
Sorry, can I ask a question?
Let's pause on the phrase, be on the same page. To have the same understanding, agreement, or vision about something. When everyone is on the same page, they all understand the plan and agree with it. In the days before email and shared documents, people working together would need to literally look at the same page of a document to understand it the same way. If they were reading different pages, they'd have different information and different understandings. The phrase stuck, being on the same page, means having shared understanding. Use this phrase to check alignment and understanding. A common mistake is assuming everyone agrees with you. Always explicitly check if you're on the same page before moving forward. Now, let's practice together. Repeat after me. We need to be on the same page here. We have a 12-week deadline. We can't move. Before we make a decision, let's make sure we're on the same page about what the goal is. The two teams weren't on the same page about the budget, so the project got delayed. Let's pause on the phrase, back and forth, to exchange ideas or communication repeatedly between two people or groups, to go one direction and then the other in a discussion or debate. It's a dynamic exchange where ideas move back and forth like a conversation. The phrase comes from the physical movement of going back and forth, walking to and from a place, or swinging back and forth. In conversation, when two people keep responding to each other, exchanging ideas, they're doing the same thing, trading ideas back and forth like a physical, back and forth motion. This phrase describes the process of discussion itself, not the outcome. You can go back and forth many times without reaching agreement. Use it to describe the dynamic exchange, especially when it takes time or effort. Now, let's practice together. Repeat after me. We go back and forth on different approaches. Maybe overlap is risky, or maybe it saves time. The negotiation went back and forth for weeks before both sides agreed. My sister and I went back and forth about which restaurant to choose until we finally decided on pizza.
Sorry, can I ask a question?
Of course. Please go ahead.
I was listening to the discussion, and I'd like to throw in an idea. What if we use a phased release approach?
A phased release? Tell us more.
Well, we release the basic features in week 10, then add advanced features after that. So the core product is ready on time, but we're not rushed.
That's really smart. I like this. Grace, you throw in excellent ideas. This actually solves our timeline problem and the quality concern.
Yeah, she's right. Why didn't I think of that? This is much better than overlapping the phases.
Thank you so much. I was nervous to speak up, but I'm glad I did.
You should always speak up. Okay, I think we have a good plan now. Let me wrap up what we've decided today. We're using a phased release. Core features in week 10, advanced features later. Daniel handles planning and early development. Grace will help with the release strategy. We wrap up here and reconvene next week with more details.
That was amazing. Maya, can I ask, how did you know I had good ideas?
Because you listened carefully and then spoke up when you had something valuable to add. That's exactly what a great team member does.
Let's pause on the phrase, throw in. To add or contribute something to a discussion, project, or group effort. When you throw in an idea, you're adding it to the mix of things being considered. Imagine you're standing around a pot or container with other people, adding ingredients. When you throw in a piece of food or an ingredient, you're adding it to the mix. The phrase came from this literal act and now means to contribute something to a conversation or project. Use this phrase when you want to add something to a discussion or project that's already happening. It sounds casual and collaborative. Don't use it for a solo opinion. It's about adding to something that others are building. Now, let's practice together. Repeat after me. I'd like to throw in an idea. What if we use a phased release approach? During the brainstorm, Tom threw in a suggestion that completely changed our approach. If you have any thoughts, please throw them in. We need all the input we can get. Let's pause on the phrase, wrap up, to finish or conclude something, like finishing a task, ending a discussion, or closing a meeting. It's like wrapping something up in paper when you're finished with it. The phrase comes from the literal action of wrapping something up, putting wrapping paper around a gift or bundle to finish it. By the early 1900s, people were using wrap up figuratively to mean finish or conclude. Just like you wrap up a present when you're done preparing it, you wrap up a discussion when you're done talking. Use this phrase to signal that something is coming to an end. It's useful in meetings, conversations, and projects. A common mistake is starting to wrap up, but then continuing. If you say, let's wrap up, actually finish soon after. Now, let's practice together. Repeat after me. Let me wrap up what we've decided today. We're using a phased release. Daniel handles planning, and Grace will help with release strategy. The meeting is running late, so let's wrap up in the next 5 minutes. Before we wrap up today's work, does anyone have final questions? Great work today. Let's review the 6 communication idioms we learned. First, we learned to speak up, to express your thoughts and opinions, even when you're nervous. Second, get to the point, say your main idea clearly without too many extra details. These two help you participate confidently. Third, be on the same page. Make sure everyone shares the same understanding and agreement. Fourth, back and forth. The dynamic exchange of ideas in a discussion that takes time and involves responding to each other. These two help you have productive conversations. Fifth, throw in to add or contribute your ideas to what others are building. And sixth, wrap up to finish and conclude a discussion or task. These last two help you complete your work smoothly. All 6 idioms work together to keep you in the loop and connected with your team. Now let's test your understanding of these 6 idioms. For each question, listen carefully to the situation and choose the correct idiom. You'll have about 10 seconds to think before you answer. Grace is in a meeting and has a good idea. She's nervous, but she decides to tell the team about it anyway. What does Grace do? The answer is speak up. A speaker talks for 20 minutes before finally sharing his main idea. He should blank faster. The answer is get to the point. The manager and team disagree, then trade replies again and again until they finally agree. What did they do? The answer is back and forth. Before a big project, the team wants everyone to understand the goal the same way. They need to blank first. The answer is be on the same page. In the meeting, someone says, "I have one more suggestion for our project." What is that person doing? The answer is throw in. The meeting is ending. The manager says, "Let me blank everything we decided today," and then quickly summarizes the main points. The answer is wrap up. Excellent. You've learned 6 powerful communication idioms that will help you in any team environment. Grace learned them in one meeting and went from being nervous to confidently contributing ideas. You can do the same. Remember, speak up with your thoughts. Get to the point to save time. Work to be on the same page so everyone understands together. Enjoy the back and forth of real discussion. Throw in your ideas to add value, and wrap up to finish strong. These 6 phrases are the language of teamwork. Now you can use them confidently. Congratulations! You're ready to stay in the loop.
Moments in English. Live the moment. Make it yours.